Article 1. The impact of telecommuting on urban planning. The rise of telecommuting has brought significant changes to the way people live and work, challenging traditional urban planning concepts. Telecommuting or remote work allows employees to perform their jobs from home or other locations outside of a traditional office. While telecommuting was initially limited to certain professions, the rapid advancement of technology and the global shift in work culture, particularly during the COVID-19 pandemic, has made it a viable option for a broader range of workers. As a result, urban planners are now reconsidering the design and functionality of cities. One of the most notable impacts of telecommuting on urban planning is the reduced need for office space. With fewer employees commuting to work every day, demand for large office buildings has decreased. This shift has prompted a re-evaluation of how commercial real estate is utilized. Urban planners are exploring the potential to repurpose or redevelop these spaces for alternative uses, such as residential units, green spaces, or community centers. The reduction in office space demand also affects the dynamics of central business districts, which have traditionally been the focal points of urban development. In addition to changes in commercial real estate, telecommuting has also led to a shift in residential patterns. Without the need to be physically present in an office, workers have more flexibility in choosing where to live. This has resulted in increased demand for housing in suburban and rural areas as people seek more spacious and affordable living conditions. Urban planners must now consider the implications of this migration on infrastructure, public services, and transportation networks in these regions. The decentralization of the workforce may also reduce the pressure on urban housing markets, potentially easing housing shortages in densely populated cities. Telecommuting has also had a significant impact on transportation planning. With fewer people commuting to work, there is a reduced demand for public transportation and road infrastructure during peak hours. This decrease in daily commuters could lead to less traffic congestion, lower pollution levels, and reduced wear and tear on transportation systems. Urban planners are now considering how to reallocate resources that were previously dedicated to maintaining and expanding transportation networks. Some cities are exploring the possibility of reallocating road space to accommodate cyclists and pedestrians, or investing in smart city technologies that optimize traffic flow and reduce energy consumption. However, the widespread adoption of telecommuting also presents challenges for urban planners. The decline in daily commuting may reduce the funding available for public transportation systems, which often rely on fare revenue. This could lead to budget shortfalls and the potential scaling back of services, disproportionately affecting those who continue to rely on public transit. Additionally, the shift towards remote work may exacerbate social inequalities, as not all workers have the option to telecommute. Urban planners must carefully balance the needs of remote workers with those of essential workers who still require access to reliable transportation and affordable housing. The impact of telecommuting on urban planning is also evident in the realm of environmental sustainability. With fewer cars on the road and lower energy consumption in office buildings, telecommuting can contribute to a reduction in greenhouse gas emissions. Urban planners are increasingly incorporating sustainability goals into their designs, aiming to create cities that are not only more adaptable to telecommuting, but also more resilient to future environmental challenges. This includes integrating renewable energy sources, promoting energy-efficient buildings, and enhancing green spaces within urban areas. Looking ahead, the evolution of telecommuting will likely continue to shape urban planning strategies. As technology advances and work cultures evolve, urban planners must remain flexible and forward-thinking in their approaches. The challenge lies in creating cities that are both adaptable to new ways of working and inclusive for all residents. This will require innovative solutions that balance the benefits of telecommuting with the need for vibrant, connected urban communities. Article 2. The influence of the Enlightenment on modern education. The Enlightenment, an intellectual and philosophical movement that dominated Europe during the 17th and 18th centuries, profoundly influenced modern education. Central to this era was the belief in reason, science, and the potential for human progress. Thinkers like John Locke, Voltaire, and Jean-Jacques Rousseau argued that knowledge should be based on empirical evidence and logical reasoning rather than on tradition or religious dogma. Their ideas laid the foundation for educational systems that prioritize critical thinking, scientific inquiry, and the pursuit of knowledge. John Locke's theory of the mind as a tabula rasa, or blank slate, was particularly revolutionary. Locke proposed that individuals are not born with innate knowledge but instead acquire knowledge through experience and education. This idea emphasized the importance of education in shaping a person's character and intellect. Locke's views contributed to the development of educational practices that focus on nurturing students' potential through experiential learning and observation. Meanwhile, Rousseau's ideas about education were equally transformative. In his seminal work, Emile, or On Education, Rousseau argued that children should be educated in a way that fosters their natural curiosity and creativity. He criticized the traditional education system for being overly rigid and stifling to a child's development. Rousseau's emphasis on a child-centered approach to education has influenced contemporary educational practices, particularly in early childhood education, where the focus is on developing the whole child rather than merely imparting factual knowledge. The Enlightenment also promoted the idea of universal education. Thinkers like Condorcet and Diderot advocated for the establishment of public education systems accessible to all citizens, regardless of social class. They believed that education was essential for the exercise of reason and the advancement of society. This led to the creation of state-sponsored schools and universities that provided education to a broader segment of the population. The principle of equal access to education remains a cornerstone of modern democratic societies. Furthermore, the Enlightenment's emphasis on scientific inquiry has had a lasting impact on the curriculum. Subjects like mathematics, physics, and biology became central to education, reflecting the Enlightenment's belief in the power of science to explain the natural world and improve human life. This scientific orientation in education encourages students to question, experiment, and seek evidence, fostering a mindset that values evidence-based conclusions over unexamined beliefs. The legacy of the Enlightenment is also evident in the development of liberal education. Enlightenment thinkers believed that education should not only impart practical skills but also cultivate moral and civic virtues. This holistic approach to education aimed to produce well-rounded individuals capable of contributing thoughtfully and responsibly to society. Liberal education, with its emphasis on critical thinking, ethical reasoning, and broad knowledge across disciplines, continues to be a significant model in higher education today. However, the influence of the Enlightenment on education is not without its critics. Some argue that the focus on reason and science has marginalized other ways of knowing, such as the arts and humanities. They contend that this narrow emphasis may lead to an education system that undervalues creativity and emotional intelligence. Despite these criticisms, the Enlightenment's contribution to modern education is undeniable, providing a foundation that continues to shape educational philosophies and practices around the world. Article 3. The role of ethics in artificial intelligence development. Artificial intelligence (AI) has become one of the most transformative technologies of the 21st century, influencing various sectors, including healthcare, finance, and transportation. However, the rapid development of AI has raised significant ethical concerns. As AI systems gain more autonomy, the importance of embedding ethical considerations into their development becomes increasingly crucial. The role of ethics in AI is not merely about preventing harm, but also about ensuring fairness, transparency, and accountability in AI systems. One of the primary ethical concerns in AI development is bias. AI systems are trained on large datasets, and if these datasets contain biased information, the AI can learn and perpetuate these biases. For instance, if a facial recognition system is trained predominantly on images of lighter-skinned individuals, it may perform poorly on individuals with darker skin tones. This has led to calls for more diverse datasets and the implementation of bias detection and mitigation strategies during the AI training process. Another critical ethical issue is privacy. AI systems, particularly those used in surveillance or data analytics, often require access to vast amounts of personal data. The collection, storage, and use of this data raise concerns about privacy violations and the potential for misuse. Ethical AI development necessitates strict data governance policies, including data anonymization, consent management, and clear guidelines on data retention. The question of accountability in AI decision-making is also a significant ethical challenge. When an AI system makes a decision, such as denying a loan or diagnosing a medical condition, it is essential to determine who is responsible for that decision. The AI system, the developers, or the organization deploying the AI. The lack of clear accountability can lead to situations where harmful outcomes occur without anyone being held responsible. Ethical frameworks for AI development must address this issue by ensuring that there are mechanisms in place to track and attribute decisions made by AI systems. Transparency is another key aspect of ethical AI development. AI systems, particularly those that use complex machine learning models, are often described as black boxes because their decision-making processes are not easily understood even by experts. This opacity can be problematic when AI systems are used in critical areas like criminal justice or healthcare, where understanding the rationale behind the decision is crucial. Ethical AI development calls for increased transparency, which can be achieved through methods such as explainable AI, where the system's decisions are made more interpretable to users. The potential for AI to exacerbate social inequalities is another ethical concern. AI systems are increasingly being used in areas such as hiring, lending, and law enforcement, where decisions can significantly impact people's lives. If not carefully managed, AI could reinforce existing inequalities, such as racial or gender discrimination. Ethical AI development involves designing systems that promote fairness and inclusivity, ensuring that AI benefits all members of society, not just a privileged few. Finally, the rapid pace of AI development has led to discussions about the broader societal implications of AI, including the potential for job displacement and the need for new regulations. As AI systems become more capable, there is a growing fear that they could replace human workers in various sectors, leading to widespread unemployment. Ethical considerations in AI development must include the creation of policies that address the societal impacts, such as retraining programs for displaced workers and the development of safety nets for those affected by AI-driven changes in the labor market. In conclusion, the role of ethics in AI development is multifaceted, encompassing issues such as bias, privacy, accountability, transparency, and social impact. As AI continues to evolve, it is imperative that ethical considerations remain at the forefront of its development to ensure that AI systems are designed and deployed in ways that are fair, transparent, and beneficial to all of society. Article 4. The development and impact of online learning platforms. The advent of online learning platforms marks a significant milestone in the evolution of education. These platforms, which gained widespread attention in the early 21st century, have fundamentally altered the landscape of education by making learning more accessible and flexible. While traditional classrooms were once the sole domain of formal education, online platforms have democratized learning by removing geographical and temporal barriers. Students from different parts of the world can now access the same courses, taught by renowned instructors at their own pace. This shift has not only expanded educational opportunities, but also redefined the way knowledge is disseminated. The origins of online learning can be traced back to the development of educational software in the 1960s. However, it was the proliferation of the internet in the 1990s that truly revolutionized this mode of learning. Early online courses were often simple and text-based, but advancements in technology have since enabled the creation of interactive and multimedia-rich content. Modern online platforms now offer video lectures, discussion forums, quizzes, and even virtual labs, creating a comprehensive learning experience. These platforms cater to a diverse audience, ranging from K-12 students to professionals seeking continuing education. One of the most significant impacts of online learning platforms is their ability to provide education at scale. Massive open online courses (MOOCs) exemplify this capability, with platforms like Coursera X and Khan Academy offering courses to millions of learners globally. MOOCs have made high-quality education accessible to those who may not have the financial means or physical access to traditional institutions. This has led to a more inclusive educational environment where knowledge is no longer restricted to a privileged few. Despite these benefits, online learning platforms have also faced criticism. One major concern is the high dropout rate associated with online courses. Without the structure of a physical classroom and face-to-face interaction with instructors and peers, many students struggle to stay motivated and complete their courses. Furthermore, the lack of personalized feedback and support in large-scale online courses can hinder a student's learning experience. Critics argue that while online platforms are effective at disseminating information, they fall short in fostering the deeper, critical thinking skills that are often developed in a traditional classroom setting. Another concern is the digital divide, which refers to the gap between those who have access to the internet and those who do not. While online learning platforms have the potential to democratize education, they can also exacerbate inequalities if access to technology is not universally available. Students from low-income households or rural areas may lack the necessary resources, such as reliable internet connections and computers, to fully participate in online learning. This divide highlights the need for policies and initiatives that ensure all students have equal access to these educational opportunities. The COVID-19 pandemic has further accelerated the adoption of online learning platforms. As schools and universities around the world were forced to close their doors, online learning became the primary mode of education for millions of students. This sudden shift highlighted both the strengths and weaknesses of online platforms. On the one hand, they provided a lifeline that allowed education to continue amid unprecedented disruptions. On the other hand, the pandemic exposed the limitations of online learning, particularly in terms of student engagement and equity. Looking to the future, the role of online learning platforms is likely to continue expanding. Hybrid models, which combine online and in-person learning, are expected to become more prevalent. These models aim to leverage the strengths of both online and traditional education, providing students with the flexibility of online learning while maintaining the personal connection and support of a physical classroom. Additionally, advancements in artificial intelligence and data analytics are expected to enhance the personalization and effectiveness of online learning platforms, making them even more responsive to the needs of individual learners. In conclusion, online learning platforms have significantly impacted the field of education, offering both opportunities and challenges. While they have made education more accessible and flexible, they also raise important questions about engagement, equity, and the quality of learning. As these platforms continue to evolve, it will be crucial for educators, policymakers, and technologists to work together to address these challenges and ensure that online learning fulfills its potential as a powerful tool for education.